The 13th floor's guardian shatters, and the tower's core begins collapsing inward. Bam clutches the broken stone, eyes burning for Rachel, whose whisper still haunts his mind. He wants the next floor's test to end so he can chase her shadow. The crumbling walls block his path, each stone falling like a warning. He lunges through the debris, grabbing a hanging rope, pulling himself up as the floor gives way beneath his feet. The tower groans, sealing the exit behind him, and a distant scream echoes from the depths. Kun steps beside Bam, mind racing to calculate a safe route. He wants a clear path to the test's entrance, fearing the collapse will trap them forever. Rak snarls, his claws flashing, and vows to follow Bam until death. He wants to protect his new friend, to prove his clan's loyalty. The floor erupts with hidden spikes that shoot up like angry teeth, aiming straight for their throats. Rak charges, slashing the spikes with his blade, each swing sparking metal against stone. Bam grabs Rak's arm, pulling him onto a narrow ledge that barely holds their weight. The ledge cracks and both tumble into a lower chamber, the exit sealing behind them with a deafening clang. Their breaths ragged. They realize they have traded one danger for another. He has no idea what's waiting. Bam lunges into the first floor, heart pounding as the stone doors slam shut. Conflicts a scheming grin, whispering battle plans while Rak flexes his massive blades. Suddenly, Hedon's cold voice booms, "What do you desire?" Rachel's silhouette glints atop a distant balcony, her eyes burning with a Zoa-bound ambition that could shatter the tower itself. Bam slams his fist into the basalt wall as the test's gargantuan monsters roar, their limbs tearing the air. Kun darts ahead, calculating every opening, while Rak's blade carves a crimson trail through the horde. Rachel's distant whisper flares in his mind. "Become a Zoa." Bam shatters the humming sphere, unleashing a blinding flash that vaporizes the monster's grip and sends a massive, humming bomb plummeting onto the flooded arena's surface. He risks everything, feeling the crushing weight of the tower's terror while clutching the sphere that could grant the next floor, or condemn his friends to annihilation. The bomb detonates, the water erupts, and a shadowy presence watches, its intent unknown, leaving the fate of Bam and the entire floor hanging on a trembling heartbeat. Hit subscribe on Manwa with Hari right now. The next recap is closer than you think. Evan's head rockets toward the test, and the walls seem to bleed dread before sunrise. Lady Yuri shouts for someone to speak, desperate to keep order. The newcomer, an irregular, slips through the base floor door alone, drawing every eye. Hedon, the ever-watchful overseer, readies his gaze, ready to crush any mistake. Panic spikes, but Yuri forces the crowd to stay silent, buying the irregular a breath. The irregular stands, trembling, while the tower's hidden cameras lock onto him. The moment stretches. If Hedon moves, the newcomer dies instantly.
Hedon, didn't you give him a pocket?
The crowd erupts, accusing the ancient keeper of negligence. "Forgot? You're the most experienced." A voice shouts, blaming Hedon for a missing aid. "Don't hide. Step forward." Another commands, forcing the newcomer into the arena. The newcomer's eyes flick to Evan, shouting, "Evan, get your ass here." The air vibrates with desperation as the tower's guards scramble. Evan darts forward, his boots pounding, determined to hand over the spare pocket that could save a life. The newcomer grips the offered pouch, hope flickering like a candle.
"There's no way an ordinary human will pass."
The newcomer clutches the cheap, tarnished badge the gatekeeper tossed him, eyes darting at the towering stone walls. The tower's testmasters watch the boy's trembling form and argue over the difficulty level. Hedon suggests easing the trial, fearing the child will crumble. Princess Yuri, fierce and determined, steps into the light and declares she wants this child to reach the pinnacle, her eyes burning with purpose. The judges hesitate, the weight of her promise pressing against their stone hearts. Sensing a chance, Yuri offers to bend the rules, her voice slicing through the stale air. The boy feels a flicker of hope, his chest tightening as he realizes a powerful ally might shield him from certain death.
"I will see you climb to the top."
Yuri watches, her face a mask of conflicted compassion as Bam wields the Black March. She wants to see him rise, but fears the tower's balance will shatter if he abuses the weapon. The judge's punishment looms, ready to strip the needle away at any sign of misuse. Bam pushes forward, each thrust echoing louder, the stone floor splintering under his force. Yuri's hand trembles, realizing she may have sparked a chain reaction that could endanger more than just Bam. The needle's power drains, leaving both wielders exhausted and the judges whispering about consequences. Bam grips the Black March needle, its pulsing tip igniting as he shouts his name, and the stone gate erupts, revealing a hidden stairway that threatens the tower's fragile balance. He risks losing his humanity to the weapon's corrupting power while desperate to prove his worth to Rachel, feeling the crushing weight of every judgment and the promise of becoming something more. Yuri steps from the shadows, sword drawn, demanding he abandon the needle, while unseen walls whisper a looming punishment that could seal his fate before the next trial even begins. He's playing chess while they're playing checkers. Subscribe to Manwa with Hari. Khan's blade sings death. Bam's gamble could shatter the tower before sunrise. The boy stands at the edge of a blackened arena, breath ragged, eyes fixed on the looming gate. He wants only one thing, Rachel's hand, the promise of the top. The Guardian's stone floor cracks, spilling cold mist that claws at his skin. Bam lunges forward, fists clenched, ignoring the deafening roar of unseen watchers. The floor erupts, spears of light pierce his back, but he keeps moving, each step a defiant scream against the tower's silence. And that's not even the worst part. The boy's pulse hammers as a guttural kia splits the air, echoing his own terror.
Kun darts across the glowing plaza, his mind racing as the floor's riddles flash like neon fireflies. He slams a crystal into the central pedestal, forcing the hidden mechanism to shift. Bam lunges forward, eyes blazing, and snatches the soaring key before the ceiling collapses. Rachel's silhouette flickers above, taunting him with a whispered promise. With the gate grinding open, the trio erupts onto the next floor, where a hulking rancor waits, claws ready to rend any intruder. A sudden roar shatters the quiet of the hidden floor as Kun slams his fist into the stone wall, exposing a concealed alcove. Bam darts inside, his breath ragged, and clamps his hands around a trembling, luminescent crystal.
Bam barrels through the spear wall, blades screaming, and slams his hand into the humming black sphere, cracking its cursed mark as the hidden floor erupts in blinding light. Kun watches his friend teeter on the edge of oblivion, feeling hope surge when the mark shatters yet fearing the price Bam must pay for that fleeting victory. The Overseer's cold gaze locks onto the shattered sphere. The remaining contestants stare at the rippling darkness spreading across the floor, and a hidden threat pulses, promising a deadly reckoning. We survive on caffeine and new chapters. Subscribe to Manwa with Hari and join the club. Bam lunges through the blinding light, his heart thundering as the Black March sphere erupts around him. Rachel's distant laugh echoes, but Bam ignores the roar of the test's guardians, clutching Kun's schematics and Rack's blade. He shatters the barrier with a desperate scream, refusing to surrender. His only wish, to chase her, fuels every bone-crushing strike. Bam claws his way up the first floor, heart pounding as the stone gate screeches shut behind him. Rachel's whispered promise fuels his every strike, while Kun's razor-sharp plans slice through ambushes and Rack's axe cleaves foes in a rain of steel. The tower's echoing chant, "What do you desire?" rings louder, demanding a wish that might shatter his fragile hope. Bam crouches beside a rusted plaque, the inscription half eroded, the name on it echoing a forgotten friendship. He recalls a tomboyish girl who never sparkled like a jewel but always cracked jokes, a memory that steadies his resolve. The plaque's label becomes his anchor, a promise that he will find her, or at least the truth, no matter how high the tower climbs. As the team prepares to move onward, a hidden trap snaps shut, sealing the exit behind them. Bam's hand slams against the stone, his breath ragged, and the seal cracks, spilling a rush of cold air into the chamber. Their only way out now lies deeper within the tower's heart. A lone figure mutters in a strained tone, frustrated by the impossible arch of the Black March that snarls ahead. The words tumble out, "Should I just leave it be?" The air trembles with static,
the march's black tendrils pulsing like a living weapon. The team exchanges glances, each wondering if retreat might save them. Kun calculates a risky route, while Rak snarls, refusing to abandon the mission. They decide to charge, pushing through the oppressive darkness despite the looming danger. The march recoils, but its fury only sharpens, promising a harsher trial. Memories of the tower's first floors flash through Bam's mind as he recalls a kid who once dreamed of light.
The core's blinding glow erupts, a mocking voice echoing as the black vortex claws at Rak's hanging form while Bam lunges, daring to wrench his friend from the abyss. Bam feels his purpose crumble, the weight of every misstep crushing his shoulders, while a sharp, derisive laugh shatters the fragile hope that his forgotten wish still burns bright. Rak dangles on the vortex's razor edge, the swirling darkness yawning wider, and the child they chase remains hidden, leaving the team teetering between salvation and oblivion. Quality over quantity, but we give you both. Subscribe to Manwa with Hari. Blood stains the stairs. The king's secret weapon rises, shattering every promise. Lahel stares at the empty courtyard, her voice trembling as she asks what fighting even means. She repeats the question, why do they hate? Why must they hit and swear? Her words echo the confusion of every newcomer who has never seen a battle. The silence answers back, a wall of unseen foes that refuses to explain. Lahel's fear sharpens, but she cannot move forward without a reason. She clutches the empty air, waiting for someone to tell her why the tower demands blood. And that's not even the worst part. You feel the weight of every silent stare on your shoulder. The crowd erupts into frantic violence. Bodies crash, screams echo, and the stench of blood fills the corridors. Allies become enemies in an instant, each swing aimed at reducing the count. The Overseer watches, his grin widening as the floor fills with carnage. Fear sharpens into raw aggression, and the once orderly line of regulars shatters into a chaotic melee. The floor's walls seem to drink the blood, feeding the tower's hunger.
Your blood fuels the test.
The air grows thicker with gore, but the cost is only beginning to reveal itself. Amid the chaos, a lone voice in a regular's mind screams, trembling with terror and resolve, urging him to act. The hallway flickers, the ancient glyphs lighting up in a rhythm that matches Bam's racing heart. A lone numeral glows on the wall, marking the 7th gate ahead. Bam's eyes lock onto it. The number means another test, another barrier between him and Rachel. He pushes forward, each step echoing louder than the last, aware that every floor grows more ruthless. The glow intensifies, casting his shadow long across the stone, a reminder that the tower watches his every move. He reaches the gate, ready to force it open, knowing the next challenge could shatter his hope. What awaits behind the 7th gate will change everything. Bam shatters the first floor's stone wall with raw shinsu, exposing the hidden lever and unleashing a blinding flash that summons a fresh wave of formidable challengers. He feels his resolve crack as the desperate scream inside his mind forces him to choose between risking a lone comrade's life or abandoning his own impossible desire, leaving his heart pounding with terror and fierce purpose. The illuminated numeral on the corridor wall flickers ominously, hinting at an unseen 7th gate, while the looming silhouettes of the new opponents close in, promising a battle that could unravel everything. New skills, new stats, new dominance. Subscribe to Manwa with Hari. A cursed bullet pierces the floor, and the tower's secret erupts in blood. KL shouts, "KL got another!" While the crowd keeps brawling, too absorbed in the fight to notice the sniper's aim. LJH yells that they're too busy fighting each other, even though the danger is right above them. A lone figure darts to a nearby hill, using the rise as cover, because the chaotic melee won't let anyone reach the sniper's line. The hill becomes the only safe spot for a moment, but the tension spikes as everyone eyes the same ground. And that's not even the worst part. Bam lunges forward as Hedon's massive stone hands slam shut, the floor trembling beneath his feet. Kun darts beside him, calculating escape routes while Rak snarls, brandishing his cursed blade. Yuri shatters a barrier with a flash of royal fire,
and the irregular's heart pounds. Rachel's whispered promise echoing from the tower's infinite heights. If you want more daily recaps, hit that subscribe button now. Bam eyes the ragged doorway and whispers a promise to Rachel, his only reason to climb. He spots a black-haired figure clutching a strange pet and a hulking alligator looming nearby. The alligator blocks the path, its massive jaws snapping at anyone who dares approach. Bam lunges at the towering alligator, Rack slashes with his cursed blade, and confires a glittering card that pierces the beast's hide, igniting a chaotic showdown that shatters the stone corridor. Bam feels Rachel's promise pulse through his veins as the alligator's roar threatens to crush his friends, while Rack thirsts for triumph and can risk his calculated logic against raw, unforgiving power. The dying beast drops a mysterious, glowing egg as dust swirls, leaving the group staring at an unknown power that could either save them or unleash a deeper terror lurking within the tower. 100% pure story, 0% filler. Subscribe to Manwa with Hari. Bam crashes through the first floor's gate, his pulse syncing with the roar of the white team's blades. He snatches Rachel's trembling hand, eyes blazing white fire as Hedon's riddles crumble around them. Kun's grin slices the tension, Rack's jaw cracks open, and Yuri's light shatters the ceiling. Each step up the tower a promise, each test a gamble for the wish that fuels their ascent. Bam lunges through the first floor's shifting corridors, his white fire igniting the ancient stone as Hedon's riddles echo behind him. Kun flashes a grin, laying out a trap that snaps the ceiling shut, while Rack's shark-toothed blade rends the massive iron gate. A lanky fighter watches the chaos, his mind racing about the alligator-guarded gate. He wants to understand the obsession with the Black March, hoping the clue will give him an edge. The gate's massive jaws block his path, the air thick with the stench of fear. He lunges, shouting nonsense about turtles and toucans, trying to distract the beast. The creature snarls, the ground trembling under its weight, and the fighter's desperate jokes fall flat, leaving him exposed. The answer is already too late. A lone voice whispers a single, cryptic word as the floor trembles. He wants nothing more than to survive the next test, clutching whatever sliver of hope remains. Bam ignites white fire, shattering the ancient stone and forcing the alligator-guarded gate open as Rack rips through steel walls and Yuri's blade cleaves the rising light. Bam stakes his fragile trust on this blaze, daring the skeptical ranker to see him as ally rather than useless pawn, while the crowd's hope teeters on his flame. The massive alligator jaws snap shut around the half-opened gate, a lone whisper echoing a cryptic word, leaving Bam and his friends staring at a darkness that threatens to swallow them whole. The backstory changes the whole perspective. Subscribe to Manwa with Hari so you don't miss it.
Bam slams the gate of the tower open, his heart thudding like a war drum, and storms the first floor, eyes fixed on Rachel's distant silhouette. He dodges a swarm of test monsters, shatters a stone barrier with raw, untamed power, and grabs the shimmering badge that proclaims irregular. Every step roars louder, daring the 10 great families to notice his relentless ascent.
Bam lunges through the echoing chamber as the test's clanging doors slam shut, his pulse matching the metallic rhythm. Rachel's distant whisper flares in his mind, a promise tangled with betrayal. He slams his palm against the ancient glyph, forcing the hidden mechanism to grind open. With the timer flashing red, Bam reaches out, shaking the alligator's claw in a tentative handshake, signaling a fragile truce. The creature hesitates, then clamps down, sealing the pact. Bam's gaze darts to the edge of the arena, searching for a fourth member to solidify the team. He spots a lone figure hunched in the shadows, muscles coiled like a spring. He rushes, shouting a challenge, hoping the stranger will answer before the tower seals their fate. The arena falls silent, the only sound his own ragged breathing.
You've got guts.
The next challenger steps forward, brandishing a cracked spear, demanding a fair fight. Bam snarls, "Fight me my way," refusing the opponent's twisted rules. He snatches the spear mid-air, the metal biting his palm. The rival yells, "Grab it, you soft-shell fool," and lunges, but Bam twists, turning the spear against its owner. The weapon clangs against the arena walls, echoing the roar of the crowd. Blood splatters, the rival collapses, and Bam drops the spear, eyes burning with a promise of more violence. If it goes like this, there's only one way. Bam slams the heavy gate open, feeling the tower's pulse surge through his veins. Bam rips the massive iron gate open, charging through the collapsing arena as spear-wielding regulars surge, his hand clutching Rachel's fading silhouette while Kun Lien's blade carves a path of icy defiance. He stakes his resolve on a desperate alliance, risking betrayal to keep Rachel alive. But the brutal clash steals his chance at vengeance, leaving his heart torn between hope and inevitable loss. The clock's final seconds flash, the tower's gears grind louder, and a shadowy figure watches from the darkness, ready to strike as Bam's fledgling team teeters on the brink of annihilation.
The action is only getting faster. Subscribe to Manwa with Hari and try to keep up.
The first test ends, and the killer's blood now stains the tower's silent halls. Evan, trembling, steps into the no-regulars testing facility, eyes darting at the hulking silhouettes that crowd the entrance. He wants proof that the survivors are truly something worthy, a chance to measure his own worth. The endless rows of scarred warriors block his confidence, their cold stares feeding his dread. He forces his breath steady, clutches his sword tighter, and forces a shaky smile as he declares he'll survive whatever comes.
Bam slams his fists against the stone gate, eyes blazing as the tower's echo answers his vow. Rachel's whisper rides the wind, and the colossal doors grind open, revealing Kun's calculating grin, Rak's snarling eagerness, and Yuri's regal poise. Together they charge into the first floor's brutal trial, each heartbeat a promise that no rancor will stop the boy who chased a single name. The rancor declares the ultimate goal, reaching the tower's summit, a place only 2 out of millions ever see. He emphasizes that those who climb become monsters beyond imagination, their power eclipsing any normal regular.
You feel the weight of every teammate's hope pressing on your shoulders. Bam demands a clear path forward, yet the instructor's garbled orders crackle. Oro unleashes a towering Shinsu wall that slams the arena, turning the test into a deadly beam forge where Bam's team must dodge a pulsing, luck-driven laser. Bam feels his friend's hopes crushing his shoulders, knowing failure strips his team of any chance to rise, while Rak's fury fuels a desperate gamble for redemption. A hulking shadow creature emerges behind the beam, eyes locked on Kun, leaving the team teetering between annihilation and a chance to shatter the tower's cruel luck test.
I brought the story to life. Now bring this channel to life. Subscribe to Manwa with Hari. Bam lunges through the first floor's crystal maze, his pulse syncing with Kun's rapid calculations and Rak's snarling charge. The stone guardians shatter under their coordinated onslaught, each crack echoing the promise of a wish. Behind them, Rachel's distant silhouette flickers like a cruel mirage, daring Bam to climb higher before his heart and his hope run out. Bam lunges through the stone gate, heart pounding as the tower's echo swallows his scream. Kun's mind maps the labyrinthine traps while Rak snarls, horns flashing, crushing any guardian daring to block their ascent. Above, Rachel's silhouette flickers, taunting, unreachable. Each floor's cruel test sharpens Bam's resolve. Survive, rise, and snatch the wish that will finally reunite them. An old caretaker steps from the shadows, explaining the selection of regulars by the head-on Nim, while the rare irregulars slip through by sheer will. Bam wants to know if he can ever belong to be more than a pawn. The caretaker's cold logic blocks him, insisting irregulars break the tower's laws yet are not inherently evil. Bam grips the railing, feeling the weight of centuries of hierarchy pressing down. He asks, voice cracking, if meeting the legendary irregulars, Phantaminum Enryu, is possible. The caretaker's eyes flicker, hinting that such meetings cost lives, and that those legends vanished because they were too powerful. The price is the knowledge that seeking them may condemn his friends. He has no idea what's waiting.
Bomb shatters the stone table with a furious fist, forcing the administrator to reveal a hidden irregular test that could rewrite the tower's rules. Bomb feels his pride ripped apart while a fleeting hope burns, promising a chance to belong but risking everything he's sacrificed. The locked door looms, the administrator's grin widens, and Bomb stands on the brink of a test that could seal his fate forever.
This is peak fiction. Hit subscribe on Manwa with Hari so you don't miss the peak.
Bam slams his fist against the iron gate, eyes blazing with the promise he whispered to Rachel. Kun's mind races, mapping the floor's lethal puzzles, while Rak snarls, baring fangs at the looming great warrior. Yuri steps forward, royal aura humming, and the heathen's grin widens. Bam's lone heart now drums the rhythm of an impossible ascent.
Bam clamps his fists as the tower's stone doors grind open, the echo of Rachel's distant laughter pushing him forward. Kun's sharp eyes scan the labyrinthine test chamber while Rak snarls, ready to tear any obstacle apart. Yuri's regal aura flickers, warning of hidden rancors. The heathen's cold whisper promises power, but Bam's only fire burns for his vanished friend. The first team shuffles toward the starting line, the air humming with restless energy. Ha! Escapes Bam's lips as he watches the delay, boredom gnawing at his focus. He forces himself to stay sharp, eyes scanning the ceiling for any hidden trap. A sudden gasp ripples through the crowd. Someone spots a flicker of movement near the edge. All heads turn, curiosity sharpening into a collective stare. The tower's silence deepens, as if listening for a heartbeat. Bam feels the pressure mount. Every second wasted could be a step closer to death.
They're giving us a hint with those screams.
The next speaker thanks Mr. Neon Bag for the information, then dismisses the gratitude as unnecessary. He warns that the mysterious figure only wants to test his own theory, and that success will force the theorist to apply it to himself. Failure, however, gives the theorist room to rewrite the theory with new evidence. The team feels the pressure mount as every decision now feeds the unknown experimenter's agenda. They exchange nervous glances, realizing each move could rewrite the rules they thought they understood. The price is a tightening knot of paranoia that threatens to split the group. A sudden command cracks the stale air. The next team must enter.
A deafening O erupts, sealing the test's final door as a stern badge-clad figure. Yu Han-sung steps forward, demanding the next regulars confront the collapsing floor before it collapses entirely. Bam fights to keep his friends united, risking his own chance at escape while the silence-filled chamber feeds a cruel clue that could strip him of hope and shatter his resolve. The gate yawns open, revealing an endless black corridor, and Yu's cold stare promises a hidden adversary whose true purpose remains unseen, leaving every regular's fate hanging on a whisper of danger.
Quality over quantity, but we give you both. Subscribe to Manwa with Hari. Bam slams his fist against the stone gate, the echo reverberating through the first floor's labyrinth. Rachel's distant smile haunts him, but the tower's cold test offers no mercy. Kun's calculations flash, Rak's claws scrape the walls, and Yuri's blade slices a path forward. Every step tightens the rope of destiny, and the whispering question, "What do you desire?" cuts sharper than any spear. Bam lunges through the first floor's labyrinth, his pulse syncing with the tower's heartbeat. Kun's razor-sharp plans slice through ambushes while Rak roars, cleaving obstacles into dust. Yuri's crimson blade flashes, carving a path toward the unknown.
Bam slams the massive stone door, the echo reverberating through the abyssal hallway. Rachel's whispered promise haunts his mind as Kun sketches escape routes, Rak's blade humming with anticipation, and Yuri's crimson aura flickers beside them. The tower's ancient inscription glows. "What do you desire?" Bam grips his newfound resolve, no strength, only relentless will, to climb, survive, and claim the truth hidden above. The team scrambles as the hallway hums, each footstep echoing like a warning. Bam wants a clear path forward, but the floor trembles with hidden mechanisms. Kun calculates the pattern, his eyes flicking over the shifting tiles, while Rak growls, ready to smash anything that blocks them. The test room flickers, numbers flashing across the stone walls like a broken scoreboard. Bam stares at the glowing, and, knowing the sequence holds the key to the next gate, Kun mutters calculations, his mind racing to match the pattern before the unseen timer ticks down. Rak pounds the floor, demanding a faster answer, while Yuri steadies her breath, refusing to let fear cloud her sight. Bam slams his fist into the stone, forcing the symbols to align, and a hidden panel clicks open, revealing a narrow stairway. Their progress earns them a moment's relief, but the answer is already too late. The hallway erupts as the stone slab flashes a scrambled countdown, and Bam forces the final door open, triggering a blinding surge that shatters the timer's frozen hands. Kun watches the numbers collapse, feeling the weight of every second as their chance to escape flickers, while Bam clutches his weapon, fearing the loss of his teammates and his own resolve. The cracked note lies on the floor, its frantic "Have a happy Thanksgiving" scrawled beside a shadowy silhouette that steps forward, promising an unknown threat looming beyond the sealed exit.
Catch up on any manhwa in under 15 minutes. That's what Manwa with Hari is built for. Subscribe now. They pass the test, but the only door leads straight to death. The group stands before Mr. Kun, shouting for a solution. Their voices crack with panic because the gold turtle warned them there are no clues left. Kun sneers, telling them to pick something and run, yet they keep demanding a hint. Their frustration fuels a desperate search, but every answer they grasp slips away, leaving them empty-handed and more confused than before. And that's not even the worst part.
There are no clues. What are you searching for? Hurry up and pick something and leave.
The room hums with static as Mr. Kun watches the clock tick down. You feel the weight of absurdity crushing your mind as Rancho steps forward, declaring, "I will lead us through this test by the God's will." He clutches an invisible talisman, his voice trembling with forced certainty. The others stare, bewildered. God's will? What kind of ability is that? Their doubts swirl, yet the promise of a divine guide glimmers like a false beacon. The group hesitates, then follows the trembling leader, hoping his madness will point to the right path. The cost of blind faith becomes a gamble. One misstep could seal their fate forever. If you want more daily recaps, hit that subscribe button now.
The God's will. I will contact my goo. Ho 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 ho.
You trust a hint like it's a lifeline, but the tower doesn't care about trust. A brilliant man, terrified of betrayal, stalks the room, clutching the whispered clue like a talisman. He refuses to rely on anyone else, replaying the director's words in his head, convinced the tea could be poison or medicine. He forces the group to test the liquid, arguing the true test isn't the drink but the decision to act. The brew spills, burning his palm, and he winces, yet the others watch, waiting for his verdict. But the real problem is already in motion. A shadowy challenger lunges at Bam, ripping the floor open and forcing the tower's hidden door to slam shut, while the director's cold voice declares the test complete and the stone slab slides away. Bam's fury ignites, threatening to consume his resolve, while the regulars scramble for the cryptic clue that could mean salvation or doom, each heartbeat echoing the loss of a possible escape. The staircase beyond the slab glows ominously, and the lingering symbol near flickers, leaving everyone wondering which unseen enemy watches from the darkness, ready to strike before the next floor opens.
Hit subscribe on Manwa with Hari. You've already spent time here. Make it count. Bam's pulse thunders as the gate shatters, the first floor's carnage spilling behind him. He lunges forward, clutching the scarred shard of Shinsu, while Kun's razor-sharp calculations blaze across his mind. Rak snarls, tearing through the 10 great family's enforcers, and Yuri's blade flickers, sealing their escape. The tower's whisper promises Rachel's truth, if they survive the onslaught. Bam crashes through the 13th floor gate, bloodied but unbowed, as Kun's razor-sharp calculations slice through the enemy tide. Rak roars, slashing a hulking Shinsu-infused beast while Yuri's blade flashes, carving a path toward the vaulted throne. Above them, Hedon's grin widens. Rachel's whisper drifts on the wind, promising power that could eclipse every desire. Bam slams the crown's iron latch, the arena's walls igniting with Shinsu as the crown game erupts. Kun's mind darts, mapping traps while Rack snarls, teeth flashing. Rachel's smirk flickers on the distant balcony, her eyes promising betrayal. Yuri draws her sword, the blade humming with Jihad's authority. The first floor's test roars to life, and the irregular's heart pounds louder than any weapon. Bam storms the 13th floor, clutching the trembling Shinsu as Kun sketches escape routes. Rack snarls at looming rankers, and Yuri's blade flashes with Jihad's wrath. Rachel's silver smile shatters the air, promising power beyond wealth or pride.
Bam barrels through the shattered crystal arena, Shinsu sparking around his fists as he slams the crown's iron latch and the crown game erupts, while Kun maps traps and Rack snarls ferociously. Bam risks his shattered heart and the fragile hope of his friends, feeling Rachel's silver smile cut through the air like a blade, while Yuri's wrathful blade flashes, promising either salvation or ruin. The final signal blares, placements have ended, and every team lunges for the glittering crown, leaving the arena trembling with unanswered questions about who seizes the prize and what darkness follows.
You're already watching. The next step is obvious. Subscribe to Manwa with Hari like the rest of the fans. Bam slams the tower's ancient gate, heart pounding as Rachel's distant silhouette fades above. He darts through the first test, dodging razor-sharp blades while Kun's mind maps every trap. Rack snarls at unseen foes, and Yuri's crimson aura shatters a looming wall. Each floor roars louder, demanding a price. Yet Bam's lone promise fuels every breath. Bam slams the tower's massive doors, eyes blazing with a single promise. I'll catch Rachel. Kun's mind whirls, mapping lethal tests while Rack snarls, ready to crush any obstacle. Yuri steps forward, her rancor aura humming, and together they charge into the abyss, daring the great families and the heathen's riddles to shatter their resolve.
Bam slams the stone door shut, feeling the tower's pulse thrumming against his chest. He darts into the test arena, dodging razor-sharp blades while Kun calculates escape routes in a heartbeat. Rack roars, cleaving a wall of fire, and Yuri's blade slices the ceiling, revealing a hidden staircase. The echo of Heden's grin follows them, each step a promise, each breath a gamble. The trio huddles, breathing hard, each aware that the crown still sits far above them. Bam whispers, "If one of us takes the throne, we win," eyes flicking to the distant prize. Rack cracks his knuckles, ready to strike again, while Kun calculates the timing. Bam tears through the blazing test floor, his bare fists crushing stone as Kun hacks cursed blade patterns and Rack roars, smashing the massive golem into shards. Bam feels Rachel's whispered promise pulse through him, knowing each strike brings them nearer the throne, yet deepens the terror of losing himself to the tower's relentless hunger. A colossal lizard lunges, its tail sweeping the arena, while the black-haired guard clamps the crown's edge, leaving Bam, Kun, and Rack teetering on the brink of annihilation.
Don't wait. Subscribe to Manwa with Hari now so the next episode is waiting for you when you wake up. The crown seized the throne, but the true king was already bleeding inside. A frantic shout erupts as someone curses a dying restroom. Then the scene snaps to a siren wailing overhead. A lone figure darts across the platform, eyes flicking toward a looming shadow that hovers like a winged omen. Every heartbeat drums louder. The air crackles with the promise of a test that no one expected. The crowd's murmur rises, a tide of fear swelling around the solitary runner. He clamps his jaw, knowing the next move decides whether he lives or disappears.
Begin round 2, or all die.
Bam storms the first floor, heart thundering as the tower's doors slam shut behind him.
Bam lunges through the first floor's endless stairwell, his heart pounding as the whispering walls promise power he doesn't possess. Rachel's distant smile haunts him, but the real battle erupts when the White Lotus's spear-wielding Luro Roxy blocks his path, her eyes flashing deserve. Bam summons Black March, Shinsu crackling, and shatters the spear, forcing the ranker to retreat and the tower to tremble. The next round will decide who survives the tower's unforgiving game. Bam races toward the throne, knowing the martyr of the king's army must hand over the crown within minutes or the whole round collapses. The crown's weight presses on his mind, a ticking bomb of expectation. Bam tears through the 13th floor Shinsu, his blade slicing stone as Rachel's distant smile ignites his fury, while the dying martyr's crown teeters on the edge of destruction. Yam Isha's desperate plea shatters Bam's resolve, forcing him to choose between claiming the crown's power and honoring Yal's wounded pride, risking the loss of his own humanity. A cold command reverberates, threatening exile or death for any who hesitate, as unseen footsteps draw nearer, leaving the fate of the throne and the surviving fighters hanging on a razor's edge.
There's history here that most people skip. Don't be most people. Subscribe to Manwa with Hari.
Bam lunges into the first floor's labyrinth, his pulse sinking with the stone-cold walls as Kun's calculations flash through his mind. Rak grins, slashing a towering guardian into shards, while Yuri's blade carves a path toward the hidden gate. The tower's echo answers their roar. What do you desire? Bam's eyes blaze. Rachel's smile, the promise of reunion, and a destiny no power can deny.
Bam darts through the vaulted arena, heart thundering as the crown glints atop the throne. Kun scrambles, calculating the exact seconds before the thief can claim it, while Rak snarls, muscles coiled for a sudden strike.
The defending leader snarls, demanding the crown be handed over, his voice echoing across the shattered arena. Bam stares back, eyes cold, knowing his power now reaches across any distance. He lifts his hand, feeling the crown's weight in his mind, and declares his claim. The defender's smile fades as his own Shinsu falters. The crown's pull too strong to resist. A surge of energy ripples outward, shaking the entire floor. Bam's allies gasp as the tower itself seems to listen, the ancient walls humming with approval. The cost. The defender collapses, clutching his wound, his ambition turned to ash.
Shinsu shatters the arena with a spear of Shinsu, the blade slicing through the crown-bearer's defenses as the glowing crown of the tower erupts into blinding light. Bam clamps the crown, his fingers trembling, feeling power surge while his allies crumble, their lives extinguished in the chaos that threatens to erase the last hope of the defending team. Rak lunges forward, blades humming, as a ghostly mist cloaks the crown and an unknown voice whispers that the tower itself watches, promising a new, unseen enemy to rise.
There's a twist coming that nobody sees coming. Subscribe to Manwa with Hari, you'll want to be ready. A wild girl storms the tower, a deadly weapon screaming toward the throne. Yuri watches the chaos, her eyes narrowed. She wants to protect the rank-up ritual at any cost. The weapon's humming blocks her path, its power threatening to tear the floor apart. She lunges, her hand gripping the ancient spear, slashing at the core of the device. The spear shatters the weapon's casing, but a shockwave knocks her back, cracking the stone beneath her feet. The floor trembles, and the throne room's ancient seals begin to crack open. The crowd mutters about luck, but the newcomer, Swing, grins, craving a chance to prove herself. She wants the weapon for herself to claim fame. Bam slams his fist into the obsidian gate, the echo ricocheting through the tower's cavernous halls. Kun's eyes flash as he sketches a risky escape route, while Rak snarls, muscles coiled for the oncoming wave of guardians. Yuri's blade slices the air, scattering enemies like paper. Above, Hedon watches, whispering, "What do you desire?" Bam's resolve hardens. Rachel's shadow fuels every breath. The breach opens, but what waits on the other side could end everything. You feel the panic rising as the group stumbles into a cramped hallway, the air thick with shouted commands and frantic laughter. Bam claws at the stone, demanding answers, his voice cracking with disbelief.
Bam slams his fist into the obsidian gate as the weapon's core erupts, blasting a blinding beam that tears through the fourth floor's corridors, while Kun maps escape routes and Rak braces for the wave. Kun's calculated whispers keep the team alive, yet Bam's desperate roar reveals his fear of losing the tower's order. and Rak feels the weight of vengeance burning hotter than ever. The breach yawns open, and an unseen presence looms beyond, promising a power that could shatter the tower forever if the group fails to seize the weapon first.
Most people drop the story when it gets complicated. Not you. Subscribe to Manwa with Hari and stay sharp.
The black hair thief snatches the needle, and the tower's death timer erupts. A guard shouts, "What do you think you're doing?" Entering another team's room is Strictly. The black-haired newcomer flinches, clutching the glinting weapon. A rival sneers, "Hey, black hair, how did you get that weapon?" "GG." The thief stammers, "What weapon?" "The needle you're holding now. Are you ignoring how I got it?" Panic spreads. Everyone knows possession of the needle means instant disqualification. The thief's grip tightens, fearing the timer will crush his team.
You're not supposed to have that.
The countdown ticks louder, and the next move could end everything. A stern figure steps forward, promising no further misbehavior will be tolerated, then stumbles over his own words. Someone shouts, "Anal. He's mad." The room erupts in nervous laughter. Then a "Ha!" as the authority figure resigns to the inevitable, muttering, "I guess I have no choice." A weary voice whispers, "Mommy, where?" The speaker realizes that in this low-level chaos, rank means nothing. Only raw power decides who survives. The crowd checks each other's levels, measuring strength before daring a strike.
Levels matter more than anything now.
The floor's new rulebook writes itself in blood. A sly challenger thrusts a high-stakes wager, offering his glittering green April while demanding Bam's coveted Black March, sealing the deal with a snarling grin that electrifies the arena. Bam wrestles with dread, knowing surrendering his Black March could shatter his rank and endanger Mr. Coon and Mr. Rack. Yet refusing risks his friend's blood spilling on the test floor. The massive lizard snarls, coiling around the coveted needle as Bam lunges forward, leaving the audience trembling on the brink of a clash that could decide who claims the ultimate weapon.
He never forgets a face, and he never forgives a traitor. Subscribe to Manwa with Hari.
The crown game lights the sky, and the dead rise to claim its throne. Miss Annexteam snarls that a game without her isn't worth winning, daring anyone to ignore her. The organizer dismisses her, declaring the rules unchanged and confirming her disqualification. He announces the next round will start with Alt, the advancing winner, and forces the crowd back into motion. The company watches, cold and indifferent, as the arena resets for a new blood sport. The tension spikes. No one knows who will survive the next brutal test.
A game without me isn't worth winning.
And the arena hums, waiting for its next victim.
Despite his lack of power, the fighter stands tall, refusing to let the doubts swallow him. Even though you're not strong and have nothing to trust, you still try to protect those who trust you. He mutters, a promise to himself and his allies. A booming voice erupts. We will now begin round of the crown game. Participants, press the buzzer before the contest. 1. Then shall West. 2. The arena erupts into chaotic shouts, the countdown ticking like a heartbeat. The announcer sputters. To take the Kong, leaving the goal hanging in the air. Everyone scrambles, fingers hovering over the buzzer, each fearing the loss of their chance.
Press now or disappear.
The crown game erupts as the signal blares, forcing every contestant to execute the deadly turn step in perfect unison, while a rival's smug grin masks a hidden blade ready to strike. One battered fighter confesses his guilt, vowing never to betray his allies even as doubt gnaws his heart, while the weight of broken promises crushes his resolve and threatens to shatter his trust. The digital ticker counts down to 0, the arena humming with tension, as unseen forces converge and the true purpose of the crown game remains hidden, leaving every player teetering on the brink of annihilation.
The payback is going to be legendary. Subscribe to Manwa with Hari to witness it.